Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I have a very, very, very special guest here. We have one of the most funniest stand-up comedians, Mad TV, script specialist, just a funny guy overall. He came into the comedy game at one of like the youngest. He's like the Kobe of this shit. He skipped college. He skipped college and everything, right? Just went straight to the big leagues. Mr. Aries Spears himself. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. What's good with you? Borough to borough, man. Where you from?
Actually, I'm from upstate New York, Griselda. That's my family.
Oh, okay. I never heard of that.
Yeah.
We're upstate. What is
We're
it?
talking about Albany, Syracuse.
Yeah. I've been to Syracuse, Albany, Rochester, but I never heard of that. Okay.
Well, I'm from Griselda's the record label.
Oh,
I was
okay.
talking about the Buffalo Kids.
Oh, okay.
But I'm from a small town called Utica, New York.
I've heard of Utica.
Which is right, Syracuse.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. That's what's up. Yeah.
So, hey, listen, man. First of all, I really want to say thank you for coming and showing up. It's really an honor to host you here today.
Oh, it's all love, man.
Okay, now we're gonna get straight into it, man. Did you see the fight over the weekend?
I did, man. I was working. I was in Jacksonville, Florida, man, doing stand-up. So I know it was a big deal, but I didn't get to see it. But I'm gonna catch it on the replay.
Well, did you hear about it at all?
I know Crawford won, right? Yeah. Was it a landslide or was it competitive?
Errol Spence looked like the Martin character afterwards. You know the
Yeah. Damn. It was lopsided like that?
Bro, it wasn't fair at all.
Wow.
Stephen A. Smith is suggesting that Errol Spence retire.
It was that lopsided? What round did it end?
He knocked him down the second round, then he knocked him down 2 times in the 7th round, and he ended it on the 9th.
Damn. You know, I think the fight we all want to see, even though I know it most likely won't happen, is Mayweather Crawford. You know, I know Mayweather don't want that 50-0 to be 50-1, and you know, he want to protect that money brand. But you know, fight is fight, man. You know, I recently sent out a post on my Instagram where I was like, the question was asked: would Floyd Mayweather be 50-0 in the Duran, Hagler, Hearns, Leonard era? And of course, a lot of people was like, hell no. So, you know, I think he should fight Crawford, man. You know, not that his place in history isn't cemented, and you know the respectability factor is through the roof. But come on, man. You know, get the people what they want, man. If you Floyd and you Money Mayweather and you the brand and all that, come on, man. Fight is fight, man.
I would love to see that fight myself.
Everybody would love to see it. Yeah.
Well, who do you think will win that fight?
I'm gonna go with Crawford, who I know is a bit younger than Floyd. But I think there's a reason why Floyd wouldn't want to fight him, you know, because he know he official tissue. You know what I'm saying? And again, he wants to protect that 50-0. But if he true to it and to his heart and it's true to the game, fight is fight, man.
I totally agree, man. That's why Errol Spence took the fight, just to say, look, everybody want to see it. I'm doing it. But I advise you to go watch those highlights.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely see it.
I'm going to definitely see it.
God damn.
Okay, well, you know, this is a question me personally I've always been interested in knowing about you. I'm not sure if you've ever given anyone the answer before, but who is the best stand-up comedian of all times to you?
You know, that's almost like a two-part answer. I mean, you know, it depends. Look, Richard Pryor, of course, is like the Babe Ruth of stand-up. He's the ultimate. Because in terms of what he did, the timing that he had to do it, what that meant in terms of comedy and American history and society and what black people were going through in the 60s and the 70s. So Richard is the god. But I feel like that there's 2 parts to that. Because when you talk about the greats, and I know that, you know, people say the kings of comedy was Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey, Cedric, DL, and that's cute. And they you know, you tip your hat to them. But the real kings of comedy, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, I would even throw Bill Cosby in that mix. But they're to me on the Mount Olympus of comedy greats. There's the GOATs, the what you call it, the Mount Rushmore, and then there's Mount Olympus, the gods that supersede that. And I think Pryor, Murphy, Cosby, and Fox are the Mount Olympus. Now, as far as the Mount Rushmore of today, I say Dave Chappelle is the GOAT. And a close second, even though he's no longer with us, if he was still here, undoubtedly Patrice O'Neal would be right there, right where Dave at. Because Patrice, anybody know anything about Patrice? Patrice was a beast, man. Pure animal.
I hear his name all the time when I hear about
Animal,
stand-up
man.
comedy.
He, if we put it in rap terms, he would definitely be like Biggie. People often say Biggie, like to denounce Biggie or discredit Biggie as one of the greatest, because they go, he only had 2 albums, Life After Death and Ready to Die. But you could tell from what his skill set was and who he was as a rapper, had he lived, there's no question his body of work would have been up there with whoever people deem your top 5. So, to try to say that because he only had 2 albums because of his untimely demise and discredit him like that, please, you don't have to. If a motherfucker got the goods, you can tell. But Patrice to me was like Biggie. You know what I mean? His life was cut short, but in terms of what he was able to do, his skill set, his stage presence, his ability for truth, his intellect, that motherfucker was a monster, man. Straight up.
Well, recently there's a debate online that Biggie versus Ice Cube in storytelling. Okay, Big Gip from the Goody Mob brought it up. Now, I'm Biggie all the way. I just, come on, New York Biggie, it was a whole movement back in the 90s. But Today Was a Good Day is one of the most story records, hip hop. I mean, when you think of a story record,
fuck out of here! Niggas Bleed puts everything to rest. It's over. Niggas Bleed is the Terrence Crawford versus Ice Cube's Errol Spence. The fuck out of here. And listen, again, I'm from New York, you from New York, so I know people gonna come up with that's just New York bias. Man, fuck that. Listen to the track. The way Biggie tells that story, with that melody behind it, that music behind it, the way it builds to a crescendo, it literally felt like you was watching a scene that could have been a Martin Scorsese movie. The way he details that fucking song and he tells that story, Ice Cube's, that don't even come close. That don't even come close. And listen, man, I'm being honest. Listen, I respect Ice Cube as one of the pioneers of hip hop, especially representing the West Coast. So I ain't shitting on Ice Cube. He's not my cup of tea, man. He's just not my cup of tea. When you look at lyrical ability, storytelling, metaphors, punchlines, just sheer lyric for lyric talent, like Jay-Z said, New York, home of the spitters. New York is known for that. Nas, Jadakiss, Big L, Biggie. Some of the best spitters come out of New York. So, when you look at Nas, when he did a track called Rewind, this nigga rap backwards. I tell people, you know how hard it is to rap forward? That nigga rap backwards and told a story that was totally in sync. You could track it. It all made sense. I don't think there's many MCs today who could do that. That's a whole nother level of ability. And Big and Nas, come on, man. Nah, yo.
I gotta agree with you on that. You're right.
I just, and maybe, maybe this is a West Coast thing, but let me not relegate it to a West Coast thing. Let me say, when I listen to, Today Was a Good Day, it felt very 80-ish in terms of, remember that when rap first came out, Curtis Blow, that 80s cadence, I went to the tour and the Ice Cube's good day was, and I stood and I went and I drove in my car. I got very far. Today was a good day. Versus Biggie's again, niggas bleed. I wish I could remember I spent the round, shot the chick in the breast, hit her with open the briefcases, nothing but Franklin faces. The alarm systems. That's when other cats start to slip in. Time for us to get the dipping. It's the way he flows is a lot more. It's like cursive writing versus regular penmanship. So yeah, man, nah.
True, it's like a Scorsese movie. When I first heard it, Niggas Bleed, it was the other one, Today's Agenda, got the suitcase.
That is Niggas. So go to 112, tell them Blanco sent you. Ugh.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh,
it
come
gave me
on,
chills
man.
Chills. First time I heard it.
Chills. And again, I'm not a West Coast dude, so maybe for me, if I was a West Coast dude, born and bred, that West Coast sound feel would have meant more to me. But I couldn't relate. I just couldn't relate.
Well, here's my next question. Recently, Kodak Black and Tekashi now have a song together. Now, you know, Kodak Black is like the face of the streets of the young people. I don't know if you know that, but that's what he is in today's modern rap, right?
Right.
He's been to jail, everything on, and he has a song with Tekashi now. So now everybody's calling him, like you're cooperating with this rat,
Right.
What do you think of that? Like in hip hop, if you do a song with someone who's cooperated, does that discredit, what is?
Listen, man, I say this all the time, and I especially when I've done my interviews on Vlad, I'm 48, man. I'm from a different era, I'm from that era where, we didn't do goofy, you know what I mean? We everything we did, there was some substance to it. There was some rules to it. We move different, man. So I don't understand. And listen, I don't know if it's even in my place for me to, comment or dictate on what these kids do today, because it's just a goofy era, man. We had goofy shit in our time too, because there's always exceptions to the rule, but the exceptions were never the rule. You know what I'm saying? So, this I can't relate to what they do now, man. This is why I said I don't listen to today's hip hop. If it ain't J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Dave East, Lucas Joyner, and that's kind of where my buck stops. I'm not too knowledgeable, nor do I really fuck with this hip hop today, man. It's out of my lane.
Well, I know you had to see the pictures with Little Baby and Mike Rubin and another guy sandwiching him.
Nah.
Well, you know Mike Rubin, billionaire, young white billionaire guy. I think he's a tech guy. I don't really know what company.
I don't know if I'm...
Well, there's a picture floating on the internet where Mike Rubin, Little Baby, the rapper.
Yeah.
Mike Rubin is behind him, hugging him, but on him though. Like coming.
I think I may have seen that. Yeah, yeah, man. Like I said, these cats build different, B. They build different, man.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Let me play devil's advocate, because I tried to do this for. I'm like you. I don't really.
Right.
I'm still listening. Hop in my car and play the 90s.
Yeah.
But my question is, because there's been rappers, Cameron even said it before, and a few other people, DJ Envy, said older people from our generations who don't give them a chance now were just bitter haters. They're not going with the evolvement of hip hop. What?
I think that's horse shit. Listen, we know things evolve, but evolution is supposed to move forward, not backward. And for anybody that says, and I've heard that before, that us old heads hate on the young heads because they get in the bag. It's got nothing to do with you getting the bag, motherfucker. We celebrate that. You a young black man in America. Get your fucking bag. We hate on you because you're lazy. Your penmanship game, garbage. You know what I'm saying? That's what the hate is from. Everything I recently posted on my Instagram, man. I checked out for the first time this show called Rhythm and Flow on Netflix. And it's about where three prominent successful hip hop heads, T.I., Cardi B, Chance the Rapper, they go all over the country, you know, putting this competition together to find the next big rapper. And they first start out in LA, and they got Snoop as kind of representing the West Coast. He's like a guest judge. Then they go to T.I. and Cardi and Chance's respective cities to find rappers in their regions to eventually get them down to the finalists. And they all, again, competing for the next big rapper with a $250K grand prize. And I went, man, and again, I know people might go, oh man, you gonna say New York did it the best because you from New York, you biased. It was all garbage. All the regions was garbage. New York was garbage, Atlanta was garbage, the Midwest was garbage, because they all had that same style. I get the money, auto-tune. They all do that, and what hurt my heart is I'm going, nigga, I'm from New York. New York is doing that now. Like, what the fuck are we doing, man? Again, we come from spitters. And when you look at each region, West Coast, E40, Too Short, Snoop, Ice Cube, Ice-T, niggas didn't rap like that. They all had originality and individuality. When you look at New York, Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, Big L, Big Pun, Rakim, Public Enemy, Wu-Tang, they ain't sound like each other. Originality and individuality. When you look at the South, fucking Ghetto Boys, and Willie D is my dude. Willie D, Scarface, Ghetto Boys, Juvenile, Cash Money, Lil Wayne, T.I., Jeezy. They didn't all rap like that. Everybody had originality and individuality. Now it's all but. That's lazy. That's lazy penmanship. There's no originality in that. Who are you as an individual? So we're not hating on you because you get in the bag. We hating on you because you niggas lazy. Step your fucking game up.
I don't even really think they're rapping now. Like,
whatever you call it. Whatever you call it. You know.
Is it rapping to you? Like,
not at all. Because again, when you think about what hip hop has always been and what rap has always been, the art of storytelling, crazy punchlines, metaphors. You know, you look at, again, with respect to the South and the Midwest and other regions, again, to me, the greatest rappers in terms of ability come from the East Coast to me. So when you look at a Jay-Z, a Nas, a Mobb Deep, a Big L, in terms of punchline storytelling, Cannabis, they wrote shit that made you go, oh shit, yo, rewind that. Yo, what did he say? They had quotables. What are the quotables now? What's the quotable? You know? And now this is me being the comedian I am, but like when they went to Atlanta and T.I. was, the celebrity judges was T.I., Big Boy from Outkast, and Quavo. And at one point, one of the contestants, it was semi-garbage, and then T.I. asked Quavo his thoughts. And I guess Quavo didn't understand what T.I. was asking him, and Quavo said, man, why you gonna quit me like that? For 10 minutes, I went, did this nigga just try to say what I think he said? Man, why you try and quiz me like that? Man, why you gonna quit me like that? Where they talk like that, man? And listen, we free now. Slavery's been abolished. And I'm not shitting on the South or trying to make it seem like it's a South thing, because Ludacris, Big Boy, T.I., even though T.I. be using big ass words, because you tell T.I. loves him some T.I. Expediently. That nigga love being like he's a king on a throne. But they all speak fluent, understandable English. Nigga, what the fuck is, man, why you gonna quit me like that? We can read now, nigga. Quit me like that. I'm sorry, man.
That's hilarious, man. I lived in Atlanta for 10 years, and
right.
I remember the first year I moved down there, I had to have a translator.
Let me tell you something, man. Being from the East Coast, and we just have a certain swagger to us, a certain confidence. We step different. New Yorkers, sometimes we deemed arrogant, and we might be a little bit, but New Yorkers have a certain, but there's a reason. Like when I first started traveling the road, and I would go down south or certain other parts of the country that wasn't New York, girls would say the same thing. Oh my God, that New York accent is so sexy. And it's like, I'm a dude that comedically does accents. So the New York accent is like the British version of the British accent. Like if any woman that's never been to Britain, when you hear a guy go, I don't mean to bother you, but I'd like to know if you'd like to get a drink with me. That's sexy to a bitch. Versus the Indian accent, oh my God, I want to know if you know the thing. That make a bitch pussy dry up. That's not sexy. So to a bitch that don't know New York, when they hear New York nigga, it's like he talking British. When you go, man, why you queer me like that? That's the southern version of, oh my God, that accent, you know, whatever. Queer me like that. Make a bitch pussy dry up.
Oh my God, you're hilarious. These are facts, ladies and gentlemen. I just gotta say that.
And listen, I know, let me emphasize, I know people will watch this and go, man, that nigga just biased because he's from New York and New Yorkers think they the best and they shit don't stink. Granted, niggas with style and flavor come from everywhere. There's some West Coast niggas with flavor. There's some down South niggas with flavor. There's some Midwest niggas with flavor. Flavor and the opposite of that comes in all regions. So I don't want to make this seem like this is just relegated to New York or some East Coast shit. But having been in stand-up 33 years, having traveled all around the country, there's not a piece of land in this country I have not seen or stepped on. That's how long I've been doing this. Having gone to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Africa, all throughout Europe, I've been around. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty swaggerish myself. I know how to play tongue tennis with these broads. My serve is John McEnroe, nigga. So I know how to, you know, words and cadence titillate the ear. It's like music. If you say shit the right way to a bitch, musically it's like, Or you can say the wrong shit to a bitch and be like a gnat at a picnic. So there's some women who, they might hear West Coast nigga, hey cuz, niggas in that core, cuz. And I might do it for them. They might hear a nigga from the South. I shout it, you know, shout it. I don't see it, but I'm not a female. But that might do it for some broads. I don't know. You know, nigga, like when LL go, you know, I like to see a young hottie standing at the bus stop sucking on a lollipop. Once she gets pumping, it's hard to make the hottie stop. Not me. To a broad that ain't from New York, that's ooh. Versus, man, why you trying to queer me, lady? I don't get it. Anything that makes you go, huh? I don't understand the appeal.
That's very true. I lived in Atlanta for 10 years, and yes, it was just like that. I couldn't understand what the fuck they were saying.
Right.
Now, let me ask you about artificial intelligence rap.
Yeah, that's a thing?
Well, you know, rappers now are like really pissed about their voice being used. They have Biggie rapping Mini Men. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I've seen where they got Frank Sinatra singing some hip hop songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, what it's looking like, I guess, from an artist perspective, corporate can now take Aries' voice and punch in AI and say, hey, tell these jokes. And we don't really need him anymore. Granted,
Well, we all know that that's corporate's way of trying to get out of breaking bread. But I really believe that deep down inside, people respect the art form. People aren't going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe because people understand that the only way you can be touched is by actual people. Corporate's looking at it from a dollars and cents. But, and this is where sometimes I feel like the business disrespects the artist because they like to go, hey, it's show business. This is show business. And they put emphasis on the word business like that's somehow more important than the show. But you can't have the business without the show. They're mutually important. You know what I mean? I don't care how much you try to say it's about the business. Without the performer, you have no business. So it's like, are we really gonna get to a place where we go, I want to go pay whatever the price is for a movie ticket to go see two dynamite performances by Denzel Washington and Viola Davis in Fences, but they're AI performances? How do you AI that? How do you AI Viola Davis, when they did that scene with Denzel and he was like, I've been standing in the same place for 18 years. And she goes, I've been standing with you. Her snot deserved an Oscar. All the snot on that bitch nose and the tears on her face. How do you AI that? That's a soulful, guttural, emotional, human performance. And I don't think that can be replaced by machines. So I think that corporate and the machine and the man, and I say those three together because I think they're all synonymous, but I think that's a level of disrespect to the artist. And I think ultimately, which is what this writer's strike is all about. I think that ultimately, thank God for the people, because I don't think the movie going public, the music listening to public is gonna tolerate that. Because they know the difference between stepped on and non-stepped on Coke. And they want their Coke pure. You know what I mean? We want it in its purest form. Chi-Chi, get the yayo.
Chi-Chi, get the yayo.
Yeah, man.
I was going to mention that next too, the writer's strike.
Right.
I know one of the things that they're talking about, the writers are saying that the Hollywood is using AI.
Yeah, they want to, anywhere from AI writing the scripts to they pay you as an actor for a one-time performance, and then they can use your likeness whenever they want, as many times as they want, and you see no residuals. You get paid a one-time fee to perform, and after that, your services are no longer needed. They can just use your likeness without your permission, however many times they want. And come on, man, that's horse shit. That's absolute horse shit. Meanwhile, they make all the money from streaming and however else they want to use your likeness. Nah, come on, man, nah. That would literally be the death of actors. It's over. That would be the death of the industry from a performance standpoint.
Very true. Now, switching it up a little bit, do you know anything about Andrew Tate?
Just stuff I've seen.
You know Kevin Samuels?
Yeah.
Okay, rest his soul. But Andrew Tate is something like a Romanian version of Kevin Samuels, right?
Right.
But a little bit more aggressive, I would say.
Right.
What do you think about, is he being targeted? Like, are they wrongfully, no one knows for sure what crimes he committed. We're not talking about that. I just mean the ridicule from women saying he's a misogynist or whatever it is they're saying. Or, the message, is it getting across to women that men would prefer to be the dominant one in the relationship?
I don't know in depth a whole lot about what Andrew Tate has done, but I know enough to know that that truth is a hard pill to swallow. And hats off to some women, because not all, but there are some women who I see on Instagram who echo what Kevin Samuels is saying, who echo what Andrew Tate is saying. And that's back to Patrice. That's what made Patrice so amazing, because here was a dude, Boston dude, wasn't from New York, but East Coast, Boston dude, to his own admission, like Biggie, what do you say, black, ashy, ugly as ever, black and ashy. Patrice wasn't the best looking dude. Nigga looked like an 800-pound loose gorilla. You know what I'm saying? But his bitch was a dime. And he knew the psychology of women. And when he would, talk his shit about man-woman shit, niggas pulled out their pen and pad like, time to take notes. So there are some women who own up to the truth of what these dudes are saying, but a lot of women won't, because it goes against their narrative. And I'm even trying to in a new joke, I'm addressing the Lizzo situation I was involved in. There's a point where I even say, with women, I love women, I respect women, I don't ever want to come off a misogynist. I adore women. Y'all are mandatory. We need you. But I often go, when women get upset and it's time to engage in debate with a man, they often take on the personality traits and the behavior of children. Because they don't deal in sense, logic, and rationale. They deal in anger and emotion. And often when a Kevin Samuels or Andrew Tate or a Patrice O'Neal say factual shit, women don't look at it from, all right, is it making sense? Is it based in fact? The first thing they hear is what they don't like, and then they get emotional. And then the argument ceases to go off of sense. It goes off of anger and emotion. Chris Rock jokingly once said, women aren't gonna let a little thing like sense stop them from winning an argument. So there's a reason why everybody's saying this. And again, not all women are like that, but good majority are.
That I've never heard, but that is hilarious. Okay? They're not gonna let sense stop them. That's very true. Okay, well, I know you have to go in a little while.
We got like 9 minutes, right?
Okay, yeah, we got like 9 minutes. One of the other questions I definitely wanted to ask, I wanted to get your opinion on a Candace Owens.
Dave Chappelle coined her the best. She's a brilliant idiot. You know, here's the thing, and I've talked about her numerous times on my podcast, and I'm trying to do this movie right now where it's one of the scenes, I don't want to give away what the movie is really about, but in one of the scenes, let's just say we visit a place called Coon Camp. And in the Coon Camp, Paris Denard, Pastor Mark Burns, Candace Owens, Sheriff Clark, I know one of them passed away, but at one point, Diamond and Silk, Omarosa. We know there are coons among us. But what's so crazy about Candace is you can tell she's highly intelligent. And unless you are intellectually equipped to go bar for bar with her, you can get lost in the sauce and you can look like you've been defeated. Even though I know I'm not intellectually equipped to trade barbs with her, I know in terms of what I would say, I'm not wrong. And listen, we know if it walked like a duck, quacked like a duck, it's a motherfucking duck. And just, you know, I always said I would love it like if it were a pay-per-view event to see two black intellectualists who I have the most high regard for, Eric Michael Dyson and Professor Cornel West, go head to head with that bitch because I think they would annihilate her. But I think they are intellectually equipped to do that. I know I'm not. I'm not eloquent enough and poignant enough to be able to say what I need to say to her and look victorious. I would just get mad and tell the bitch suck my dick, you fucking coon. Because that's what I would revert to, even though I know what I'm saying in my argument is correct. She's a bed wench, man. When you look at some of the things she said, I mean, look, I don't want to put the emphasis on this the wrong way. Love is love. Life is life. Trying to figure out life and be in love. It's a rare thing to get those two combinations right. So if you're fortunate enough to live in this world, as hard as life is, and as hard as it is to find love, if you can find those two things in unison and it's perfect, that's a beautiful thing. I'm saying that to say, I don't want to shit on people who date or marry or who love interracially. Love who you love, baby. But again, you could just tell when certain people do it, why they're doing it. And with Candace Owens being with a white dude, especially based on things that she has said about black people and the way she said it, come on, man. We come on, man. Let's not bullshit. Let's wink, wink. You know what I mean? We know what it is. We know what it is. If this was 1776 and a gang of niggas went to Candace Owens and said, yo, we planning our escape to freedom, she'd go tell. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not knocking interracial relationships. Love who you love, man. Life is short. Love who you love. But that bitch, his smell, that's a different smell, man. It's like Eddie Murphy at Beverly Hills Cop 2. I used to be a Muslim. I know when there's pork in the room. Yes, that's definitely pork. There's something in the air with that bitch. And nah.
I agree with all of what you just said. Man.
Yeah, no.
You said it more eloquently than I could have said.
And I don't even think I said it eloquently. I was trying to Charles Barkley that shit and piece it together correctly. And we know Charles ain't the most articulate nigga in the world, but there are times when he's right. So, you know. But Dave Chappelle, that's what I'm saying. When he called her a brilliant idiot, that nothing capitulates that better than that.
I totally agree. Okay, now we're going to end it off with this one. I know you got your thing you got to do. This is a two-part question right here. Florida recently, I don't know if you heard about this, but they recently passed some type of law, bill, or whatever, and made some statements teaching the kids, as a matter of fact, that slavery had a benefit to it. Right, for African Americans, they had some type of benefit to it, so that's a part of the school curriculum now. That's the one part of the question.
Well, before you get to the second part, the person that said that, what color were they?
White.
Okay, go ahead.
And the second part is this: being a black male, I know you've experienced some crazy things with, you know, in America especially. But my question is this: with so many other enemies that these white people in America have in regards to races, right? You got the Chinese people on this, you got the Russians, you got why do they still focus so much on bringing down African American men who don't own shit when it comes to a country, nuclear bomb? Like we're nowhere in that race, but yet they consistently create these laws in Florida and things to just keep nailing it down on us. What do you think?
Because they know how dangerous we can be intellectually. They know how dangerous we could be if we unified. They know how dangerous we could be if we did all the things that we don't do. You know, when you look at history and you look at our contributions to society and to the world, besides the fact that we started civilization, we did a lot of things first. We did a lot of things that have been tried to be duplicated and replicated. Black people are the shit, man. You know, and you know, I don't know of any other race of people that has had to endure what we've had to endure at the level that we've had to go through it, and still we have this ability to turn lemons into vodka. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we start trends. We lead in fashion, dialogue. Like Paul Mooney said, everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga. You know, we the coolest motherfuckers on the planet. You know, we teach the world how to dance. We taught Europeans how to bathe. You know, we got dicks as big as kayaks. You know, we got soul. You know, we you know, historically we some bad motherfuckers. And, you know, I'm not here to say that one race is superior over another, but for all the things that have been said about us in a negative connotation, really, when you look at the history, we've been the opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? We've been absolute opposite of that. I remember when I saw the movie Mississippi Burning, and it was the scene where they had all the troops and the army personnel. They flooded Mississippi looking for the bodies, and then the local news crew would interview the local Mississippians, and you know they were commenting about the situation. And one lady said, "They're not like us. They don't take baths. They stink." And again, historically, the Moors taught Europeans hygiene, cleanliness, how to bathe. You know what I'm saying? When a lot of Americans, when America came over and stole America from the Indians, they brought diseases. They brought, you know, smallpox and I forget some of the details, but yeah, they brought diseases. You know, it's funny when I did my podcast and we had Godfrey on. Godfrey, who's very knowledgeable about this, and this is what I mean. Going back to the Candace Owens things, Godfrey is one of the funniest and most intellectual brothers in the game. You know, and I felt like when he did our podcast, school was in session, because there were things that he said that I knew, but there was a lot of things he said that I didn't know. And that's why I'm saying, for me to go up against a Candace Owens, I know that I would be right in where I'm coming from, but I don't know that I would have all the ammo necessary to come across as intelligent or as poignant as I would like. But I think that black people and black men in particular have always been seen as a threat in this country because we exude confidence, we exude talent, we exude ability. You know, we're who everybody wants to be. You know, and maybe there's a fear and an inferiority complex based on that because they know that. They know that. And history has shown that. You know, we come from kings and queens in Africa. You know, I know in the movie Black Panther, Wakanda is fictitious, but some of the details aren't. We come from that. You know, that's why today we wear chains and medallions and a lot of rings. And because when you look at us historically, we've always been that. Gold and diamonds and all of that shit. We shine, man. And there's a jealousy factor and a fear factor that comes with that.
Last question. Do you feel like, and it may be no, maybe yeah, but do you feel like the LGBTQ movement has replaced the black movement?
I agree with Dave Chappelle. It's made better progress in shorter time, which is why when he did that brilliant comedy special on Netflix, The Closer, he commented on that we're envious of how successful that movement has been in such a short amount of time, which was so brilliant. And that's why, again, Dave is one of the GOATs because, you know, that Closer, the way he nailed so many points and talking about the LGBTQ community and the transgender issue, I thought was brilliant. You know, that's not an easy thing to navigate. That's a minefield like a motherfucker. One false step and boom. And I thought Dave handled it brilliantly.
Well, hey, man, I really appreciate your time, Aries. You were great, hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to do this, you know, a lot more. And if there's any last things that you want to say.
Yeah, just check out my podcast, Spears and Steinberg, available on all streaming platforms. Slide into my DMs on my Instagram. I'll send you the links, chop it up with you. Start from the beginning, man. I know we like almost 500 episodes deep, but start from the beginning. Binge if you got to, because it really makes sense comedically. You know, if you try to listen right now, you might be a little out of place in terms of the callbacks, the references, the characters. But I guarantee you, if you start from episode 1 and go in order, it's like crack cocaine, man. Once you get a hit of the blue magic, it's over. You're hooked.
Thank you, Aries Spears.
My man.
We out.
I appreciate you, brother.